Good morning. You're watching News Center with me, Akisa Wandera. Thank you for staying with us. We continue to keep you up to date with the stories that are making headlines, those that are developing, and we are following up on for you here in the newsroom. Now, desert locusts have invaded about 2,000 hectares of land in Ramudimtu ward in Mandera North, and this just a day after Kenya was declared locust-free by the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, FAO. According to Mandera Governor Ali Roba, a swarm of locusts invaded the region, moving in from Ethiopia. The county government has called on the national government to act swiftly to rid the insects before spreading into other areas. Now, they want the government to contain the destructive insects by aerial spraying. But concern is also being raised on the safety of the insecticides that the government has been using on the desert locust to contain them. A group of agriculture lobbyists want the Kenya Parliament to assess the impact of pesticides banned in the EU on Kenya's agricultural production. A petition filed by Uasin Gishu women representative Gladys Boschole asked Parliament to order the withdrawal of harmful chemical pesticides in the Kenyan market banned in Europe, the United Kingdom and the US. She has blamed Pesticides Control Product Board for allowing the continued use of harmful chemicals despite scientific proof that they were dangerous. Gladys Boschole now joins us for conversation on the harmful pesticides and why since 2019 there seems to be nothing much done. Even that particular petition was in Parliament in 2019. Thank you for joining us this morning for this conversation. The re-emergence of desert locusts in Mandera just a day after Kenya was declared desert locust free. Does this concern you as a legislator?
Yes, thank you, Akisa, for having me. And I am extremely concerned about this issue. Not that we don't have the capacity to deal with the desert locusts. Yes, we do. The challenge that we have is that the desert locust pesticide that is being used is actually harmful to human health, animals, and the environment in general. This has been confirmed by various international organizations. The type of pesticide that is being used to deal with the desert locust, and in fact was used in the last desert locust invasion that we had, contains a chemical called chloropyrethrum. Chloropyrethrum has been banned in the UK, in the whole of Europe, and in the United States. In fact, the companies that manufacture them are in the US and in Europe, and they are permitted by their countries to manufacture them for export to countries that allow them to be imported into the country. The Pesticide Control Board is mandated by the law to decide and vet which pesticides are being used. Currently, those pesticides are being used, and in fact there is preparations to use those pesticides that are harmful to human health on the desert locusts at the moment. The big concern of the people of Mandera should be the population in Mandera has not been asked to give or been allowed to give their views and their concerns, and being even given the information that this is harmful to their health. So to use it in an area without informing the population is immoral and gravely wrong.
Looking at this bill that you presented in Parliament, sorry to cut you short, and the progress that has been made so far, Parliament referred it back to the Pest Controls Product Board, which said it will conduct a risk analysis of products sold in Kenya. Has there been any progress since we started this conversation in 2019?
Thankfully, the new CEO of the Pesticide Control Board is more proactive relating to this issue. The previous one that held office was actually the one allowing these criminal activities to happen in our country. So we are hopeful that this is going to be dealt with by the Pesticide Control Board. The only challenge is that we should not allow the use of those pesticides while the Pesticide Control Board is undertaking these studies or trying to implement the recommendations of the committee. They should not be used while this is ongoing. I have written a letter to the Food and Agriculture Organization here in Nairobi. I've also written to the head office in Rome, telling them that, in fact, in their own, what they call the pesticide referee group, has decided and did recommend that these dangerous pesticides can only be used as a last resort. Why are they using them in Kenya, yet we have safer alternatives available in the country, manufactured by at least 5 companies in Kenya, and can be used? Why should they use the harmful one that is coming in from overseas? There is something that the Food and Agriculture Organization is not telling us. Also, the USAID Environment Desert Locust Reference Group also did say that this should not be used, and they refused that anything with chloropyrethrum should not be used. The USA Environmental Protection Agency also outlawed and banned the use of chloropyrethrum. It has been confirmed to cause brain damage to children. So have the people of Mandera, were the people of Meru, were the people of Garissa and the places where the desert locust was sprayed last time, were they informed that this is a likely harm that can happen to their children? It is wrong. So we are calling upon the Pesticide Control Board and the Food and Agriculture Organization that's sitting at the UN headquarters here in Nairobi to ensure that that harmful pesticide is not used at all. They have alternatives that are available in the country, and they should be able to use them.
What alternatives are these that you're calling for? Because we've also seen a group vouch for the reintroduction or the boost of pyrethrum farming in the country as an alternative. Talk to us about these alternatives that are safe for use.
Yes, these alternatives are available in the country. There is 5 companies that are manufacturing pyrethrum-based pesticides, which are safer than the chloropyrethrum-based ones. And the only reference that you need is, remember, it is banned in other countries. In the US, people were paid damages by the billions of dollars for having gotten cancer as a result of being exposed and using those particular pesticides. In Europe, it's also banned. So what is it that this country knows that the other countries don't know?
How do we expect this to affect? How do you expect this to affect food production? Because it is a concern in itself.
My petition is only calling for the ban of 262 types of pesticides. There is another 6,000 types of pesticides available in the market that is safer. So I'm not asking for the elimination of the use of pesticides. We are asking you to use safer pesticides that can mitigate the harm to human health. I'll give you an example. Science has shown us and research has shown us that Kirinyaga County has the highest use of the harmful pesticides. And Kirinyaga County also has the highest prevalence of cancer. I have a document here that's been prepared and is available for any Kenyan to see that tells us which of these pesticides we are asking for the ban. So to tell us that it will affect food security, that is being dishonest, because we have other pesticides that are safer that can be used. In fact, Akisa, these pyrethrum-based pesticides that are available in the country, the only people who buy them are those farmers who export flowers or who export certain food crops out of the country. Because if they send any food that has a little trace of chloropyrethrum, they are immediately sent back to Kenya. But anyone who's producing food for the local market buys the harmful products because we don't have a mechanism to undertake spot checks. You will see that some of the scientists who've been helping me on this campaign have undertaken research and picked food random from our markets, and you will be shocked at how much our fresh vegetables has of these chloropyrifos. No wonder the incidences of cancer and other non-communicable diseases have increased exponentially here in Kenya. And you will notice that these companies that are producing those harmful pesticides, one of them is Dow in the United States, the other one is Bayer from Germany, and they are producing them and exporting them specifically to African countries who are foolish enough to allow those chemicals that are harmful to their population's health to come into the country. Currently in our shelves of those products that I've called for the banning, there is Gladiator, there is Dasban, there is Cyclone, there is Spectator, there is Ranger. All of those are being sold in our shelves but are banned in other countries.
So one would wonder, because...
just let me give you an example.
Yes, yes.
Let me give you an example, Akisa. Just allow me.
Yes.
Remember, when science confirmed that hormonal replacement therapy for women was causing breast cancer and ovarian cancer and so on, Kenya did not undertake fresh scientific research. They immediately pulled it out of the shelves, and immediately all gynecologists stopped recommending or prescribing that hormonal replacement therapy. When science confirmed that certain cough syrups were harmful to children, all pediatricians stopped prescribing it without undertaking fresh research here in Kenya. And immediately it was pulled off our shelves. So there is no difference. What is so difficult about pulling these harmful pesticides off our shelves? In fact, the job of the Pesticide Control Board is to first not to do any harm. So mitigate the harm immediately, because the harm on human health is not reversible.
You began by saying that you've previously written to the FAO country representative seeking intervention on this. Did you get any responses? What is happening towards that end?
They have not responded at all. I have also written to the Ministry of Agriculture, and I have copied it to all the counties. Since agriculture and health is devolved, I'm calling upon the Senate and the various governors to save their people. What's the point of letting people get sick and then we start spending a lot of money on health care?
Just a question that I'm seeing here. One would wonder, if you say there are other 6,000 safe pesticides to use, why are we keen on safer? Yeah. Why are we keen on using what has been banned and is not safe? It's a puzzle here for a lot of Kenyans listening this morning.
I believe it's corruption. I believe that these institutions are compromised. I believe that these companies are big companies, and therefore they have a lot of money, and they are pushing their products here. Those companies that are producing it don't care. They just want to make a profit. Since they don't have a market in their own countries anymore, they are pushing it to other countries who don't have a proper surveillance mechanism. So Kenyans need to know this. It's important. They have been banned in Europe, the US, and the UK. They have been confirmed in those countries as causing cancer, kidney problems, neurological problems, and brain damage to children. The Environmental Protection Agency of the United States has banned any use of it in its own country. The USAID Environmental Protection Department and Desert Locust Department particularly have also refused to use chloropyrifos in dealing with desert locusts or even using it in any of the food products. So Kenya has all the science available to it. We are just not taking heed of it because there are some irresponsible officials who refuse to do their job and are willing to sacrifice human life and human health in order for, I don't know what expediency they get out of it.
As you wrap up, what's your next course of action on this?
we are now taking this to the people and the public, because once we educate the public on which products have chloropyrifos and which products have been banned and confirmed to be causing harm to human health, then we will kill their market, because we'll make sure that we educate the public and the public stop buying it, because that is the next level we can take it. If the government institutions can't pull it off the shelves, we will make sure that Kenyans don't buy it. And that's why today I am mentioning those products by name. And I dare those companies to sue me if they think that those products are not banned in other countries, and if those products have not been confirmed to cause harm to human health. So now we are taking it to the people. You're taking it to the people. It's definitely something we'll continue to follow up on, and the conversation around harmful pesticides, a conversation that has been ongoing since 2019, and now with the resurgence or the re-emergence of desert locusts in Mandera, it will be keen to see what critical steps will be taken. Gladys Boschole, the Women Rep in Gishu County, joining me on the same. Remember, she's had a bill in Parliament on the same, seeking intervention. And of course, it is a story we will continue to keep our eye on this. Gladys Boss, thank you very much for joining us this morning here on News Center. On to other stories. The negative effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on the tourism sector birthed a new campaign of promoting domestic tourism, on which the sector has been depending on for the past 1 year, with players saying the sector is peaking gradually. However, the mountain region is uncertain of the future as the 2022 general elections draw nearer, which may impact negatively